Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to ManTalk Plus. This is your host, this is Pastor Andre Fullwood, and I got the one and only Kevin Thornton from the Wellness Architect from the Stratus Network from Atlanta, Georgia. Kevin, welcome.
Thank you, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We're going to get right into the nitty-gritty because we got some stuff for you. Not only are you going to see Kevin on today's program, but you're also going to see him on next week's program, too, as we're building up for ManTalk, not ManTalk Plus. No women, I'm sorry. No women on this one. But ManTalk, and we're talking about blurred lines. Blurred lines, why blurred lines? Because every man has his own perspective of what a man is. Yeah. And it comes from various avenues based on family, based on culture, the environment they grew up in. So all these different variances. But we're not on the same page. And the only way I know that we can get on the same page is by the word of God.
Right.
But knowing that you deal in health and everything else, first of all, I want you to tell people about yourself, how they, we'll deal with how they can get in contact with you later. Okay. But what do you do? And then we're going to get into some health stuff.
All right. I'm a holistic transformational coach. So my whole purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower people to be the best version of themselves, mind, body, and spirit. With that, I'm a holistic health coach, so I'm a firm believer that food heals you, but also a certified life coach.
Right.
I believe some of the best coaches have been coached themselves, and I have been coached. Before I became a life coach, I got coached by Iyanla Van Zandt and her team.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up being more passionate about the men, because she was led to do this. She was on Michael Mason's show, and she said that God led her to do a 9-week free seminar, coaching for the first 100 black men that responded.
Wow.
So
wow.
I did it. And
you didn't tell me? No, we didn't know each other then.
I know you did. But it was amazing. My issues was minimal compared to what the other guys had going on. And that's when I realized that, the men needed help, because a lot of the men are broken. The top 2 issues that black men was dealing with at the time was abandonment, number 1, and then 2 was molestation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And the molestation part, we hear it more from women. Even meeting with meeting with Brandy Hunt, my publicist, even meeting with her and her collaboration, and I'm listening to these stories of women being molested. It's like, is it really that prevalent?
It is.
And then I'm finding out that there's men who've also have. Now we hear it every now and then, but since even I moved to South Carolina, I'm just like, it's more prevalent than what we think.
It's very prevalent. It's just a very silent situation, because people are embarrassed to say that they were molested. And then you had this guy. It was one guy I was like sad for him, because he was telling his story, and while he was telling his story, he was crying, because you could tell he was struggling with his sexuality, and he was struggling with it because his very first sexual experience was with a man who molested him. And the person who molested him was his mother's boyfriend.
Wow.
And so he told the mother what the boyfriend did, and she still chose the boyfriend over the son. And so he has a trust issue, because he let his guard down to his mother, and she still kind of like rejected him because she wanted that man.
Right.
And then of course the whole molestation issue. So it was eye opening. And so if I saw these 100 black men, and you see these men, and they're crying because the father was never there, they never felt loved and all this kind of stuff, and I don't really think people really understand how big of a problem it is,
right?
Because we don't talk about it, and then I think we are so desensitized with the stereotype that we as men are supposed to be strong. We can't show no vulnerability.
Yes, no emotions.
No emotions, anything like that. So even now, our women have adapted that mindset. So the men feel they have nowhere to go to break down, and somebody be there to help them build them back up. Because even now, the women is scared that they tell the women something, they break down, they cry, whatever situation may be, that woman will use what they did, what they said as a weapon against them.
Yes.
So they don't know what to do.
And even I'm glad you went there, because with being women want men to be vulnerable. Right. They want them to be to the point where you can come to them and really express who you are. And as men, I believe we really want to do that.
Right.
And be able to do that without being discredited as being a man.
Right.
So if I'm going through some things in life that I'm coming home from work, I want to talk to my mate. I want to talk to her. I don't want to talk to somebody else. I want to talk to one that I'm living with, that knows me, and I want them to know even the inside parts of me that I'm struggling with, that I'm fighting about, but not have you disrespect me or lose respect for me because I'm going through.
Right.
And then what happens too is that if, as a man, you go through and you allow yourself to become vulnerable and you share some of the innermost secrets of yourself, what happens when the two get into an argument?
Right.
What happens when they break up?
Yeah.
All that trust, all that stuff that we just rendered to them now becomes public display.
Right.
And then the breakup happens, but now you want to get back together because you still love each other. But now the man don't trust you no more. Absolutely. Because now you done went out and told all my business
right.
to everyone, that I trusted in you to keep. But now you want us to get back together.
Right. And it's crazy because we had a conversation, and this young lady was like, "Why can't y'all just let it go?" And I said, "Let what go?" Because she had said something that was like, she intentionally said something to hurt her boyfriend's feelings, intentionally, to win the argument. And I told her, and so they're still together, but he still have an issue with that.
Right.
And so she feels that he just need to let that go. And I said, you want him to let it go because that's something that you did, but if he did something to you, would you let it go? I said, that's the first question. I said, second of all, how I see things is if you intentionally hurt someone that you claim that you love, I have to question your love for that person.
Yes.
Because love doesn't hurt. And so why would you intentionally want to do something to hurt the person you so-called love, just to win the argument?
Right.
And so she thought about it. She said, well, I never thought about it like that. I said, because now he's questioning the love you have for him, because you intentionally hurt his feelings. Right. You intentionally tried to hurt him. So, but yeah, you want him to let it go. She said, well, I never thought about it like that. She said, well, if that was me, and she did it to me, how would I do? I said, you've been done.
Right.
I said, because you showing me that you don't really love me. Because you should show me you want to win. And I said, our conversation shouldn't be about winner or loser, but try to get an understanding, my thought pattern and your thought pattern, we try to come to kind of compromise, not about who could win the argument, who could win the debate. Right. That's where the problem becomes a part of it.
And that really goes into the marriage covenant, or working toward a covenant relationship where the husband should be dying to himself to live for her, right, and she should be dying to herself to live for him, and that whatever you do, whatever you're thinking about, you're always in consideration, how would she feel about it? How would he feel about it? You should even feel bad to the point, because sometimes things get heated up and words are released, and you can't take back what's been said. You cannot take back what's been said, because that thing is it's like a tattoo that's been etched, in your memory bank of what they said. And so if you said it to me, that's really what you meant.
Exactly.
And you have to be careful even with your sarcasm. I'm bad with that. Right. So I'm working, pray for me on that one.
You know what? And the piggyback what you said is, if I have a disagreement with someone, if I'm have a disagreement with a young lady, I'm not going, if I see that the emotions getting too high, I said, let's table this conversation for another time. Because right now, we both in our emotions, and when we in our emotions, it's not going to be a productive conversation.
Yes.
So then, therefore, somebody's going to say or do something that the other person is not going to like, and you can't take it back. So let's wait till we get calm and have a legitimate conversation. And a lot of times, they get mad.
Yes. And they want to talk about it.
They want to talk about it right now.
Women, I don't know why y'all want to talk about stuff just right now.
They want to talk about it right now, but no, I want to have this conversation right now. So you can't have a conversation while me participating. And if I'm choosing not to participate because I know me.
Right.
So if I know me, how I am as a person, and you come at me crazy because you want to win this conversation, then it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be worse than what it is right now.
Exactly.
So let's be adult about it and just table the conversation to cool head prevail, and then come back out with productive conversation. And they don't like it a lot of times, but they have no choice because I'm not gonna participate in the bad behavior on both our parts. Right. So
and you're so right. It is. We have to take those times to table when it's so heated up. When it's so heated up, because being that our emotions are so high, being that we can say some irrational things and we can end up and do some irrational stuff, I believe a lot of people have become unfaithful based out of their emotions, and not really because they had a desire to do it, but they've allowed their emotions to be so out of control that it produced an irrational action, that you wish you didn't do. So that's just one example. Or you get mad, so now I'm gonna get back at him. I'm gonna go to the bank and I'm gonna withdraw this money and I'm gonna go spend it. But now you're still together and you still got bills to pay. All because you reacted, in a unadult type of way.
Exactly. My whole thing is, where I'm at in my life is, you gotta be intentional with everything you do, everything you say and everything you do. So therefore, if I'm having a conversation with you, my question to myself first is, what's my intentions with this conversation? Or what's my intentions with what I'm about to do? And if my intentions is not correct, I have to ask myself what I want to be done to me. And if I don't want to be done to me, then why would I do it to somebody else?
Exactly.
And so that's how I try to live my life. And that's how I feel everybody else should live life, and be intentional in everything they do, because then that way you'll make a better decision. Because if you're going to do something to somebody intentionally to hurt them or harm them, you ain't gonna want it to be done back to you. So then you'll change your mindset and say, you know what, is it worth doing that? If it's not, try to figure out another way to have that conversation while trying to truly hurt somebody's feelings. So
all right. What's in my mind is about the rejection. And I believe it, as when a man's feeling rejected, he's been abandoned, it's hard for us as men to really connect and give something that we've never received. And so a lot of relationships don't prosper because of the fact we may start off good and we may start off with our intent, I'm going to be faithful to them, I'm going to be loyal to them, but somewhere, because that spirit of rejection and abandonment has not been dealt with, then we end up abandoning and rejecting the person that really loves us. We're at a point where we don't know how to receive love, even though they say they love us. They showing that they love us. They're giving all the actions, that solidify what the words say. But because we really haven't embraced or have been embraced by love, we end up in a lot of broken relationships.
And then too, what I try to tell guys and women is that before you can ask for somebody else to love you, you gotta be able to learn how to love yourself. And so, how can this young lady love you if you don't know how you need to be loved? Because all of us receive love differently. And so, in order, to me, I feel like the men and women need to do the self-work to learn how to love themselves first. So then that way they could communicate to the woman what they need from them to feel love and receive love. But then in turn, we gotta be able to not be selfish and learn how to give love the way they need to receive it. So I'll give you an example. I know somebody who he's more touchy-feely. So he needs that touch, he needs that affirmation.
That's his love language.
The love language that he's loved. The person he deals with, she's not like that. She's more like me. So I'm more acts of service. I'm not the most emotional type guy. But what I had to tell her is that this is what he needs from you. Even though that's not your strength and your love language, if you don't give him what he needs, then he's gonna feel rejected.
Right.
Because what you tell him is the way you need love to be received. You're not worthy of me trying to give it to you. So either you're gonna accept the way I give it to you, or you're not. So then when you don't do it the way he can receive it, he's gonna find someone else to do it.
Yeah,
you're
you're
gonna
right.
give to
You're right.
receive it that way. And so some receives it and be okay, and then you got some women who was like, you know what, hey, he has to do what he has to do. But this is who I am. He knew how I was before we got married or before we started dating. I'm not going to change. And I'm saying we're not asking you to change. We're asking you to understand where your man is at.
Yes.
And can you meet? This is what he needs from you, and can you give it to him? Because what you're saying is his feelings doesn't matter. And I said I had to learn that because I'm that type of guy. And I had went to a seminar maybe like 3 years ago by now, and the question was to go to all your friends or the people you're dealing with and ask them to rate your friendship from 1 to 10. 10 being high and 1 being low. Anything less than a 10, you had to push back and ask them, what do I need to do to go from whatever number they gave me to a 10?
Wow. Okay, that's good.
That was hard because you can't be in your defense mechanism because you're gonna easily be defensive about what they tell you. So I was one young lady who I was cool with. I've known since I was 18. So I'm like, she knows me. So when I asked her, and she said she gave me a 7. So I said, what do I need to do to go from a 7 to a 10? And she said, I need you to be more open to calling more. I want to hear from you more than maybe once or twice a year. So my initial reaction to myself was, you know me. You know I don't like talking on the phone like that. But I couldn't say that because if I said it, then I'm telling her that her feelings is not valid.
Right.
Or what she needs from me is not valid. So I had to say, okay. So I said, I'm gonna work on that. And that's what I did. So now she be like, okay, now you at a 10. And now, but she feels better because she said, I heard her feelings and I made her feelings valid and I worked on it. So I think that's what we all need to try to do.
Yeah, we all need to do that.
I think that's a question that's good for friendships, but also good for relationships too as well. Yeah,
because and two, we have to. We're learning. You know, if you're in a place, where you want to be a better person, so you have to allow yourself to do what you did and inquire those that's close to you about who you are, you know, and be able to, you know, be able to take the bulletproof chest off. I mean, put the bulletproof chest off, the vest off.
It humbles you,
right? And be humble enough to see some of your flaws that they see. Not that they're trying to tear you down, but hey, Andre, this is what I see you need to work on. You know, I know one of the things that I do personally, I tell people, all right, I'm gonna call you right back, and I don't call back.
You already know.
That has been a lifelong issue. But with some people, they're really waiting for you to call them back.
Absolutely.
You know, and so when you get that call back from them, well, you said you was gonna call me back, and I've been waiting. You know, so then I said, okay, well then I said I'm gonna use this term. I'll call you later. Later just leaves it wide open. You know, it leaves it wide open. But those are things that people, you know, people take that to heart. Even something that, quote unquote, it may not, you know, it may seem simple, but when people are expecting you to call them back, they want you to honor your word. And so that was one of those things to work on, you know, Andre, work on your integrity, that whatever you say, that's what you're going to do.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like, you know, we all get self-centered enough to think that everybody's going to cater to who we are. And we don't have to cater to who they are. So, you know, if I'm the nonchalant type of dude, but my friends, male and female, might need me to say, hey, Andre, I love you. That's what they need from me. I gotta be okay and say, okay, if that, even that's not my strength, if I care for this person enough, I'm going to work on doing it.
Right.
You know, so, and I feel like wherever you are weak at sometimes, God brings people into your life that's going to force you
Yes.
to work on that weakness. So now I got people in my life that's more touchy-feely, and I like to be used to that. Or they be like, okay, Kev, I love you. I gotta say I love you back. So it works. So it makes me work on my weaknesses as being not as emotional of a type of dude, because now I understand emotions is what needed for some people to feel loved. And so I think if I can humble myself to do it,
everybody else can do it.
Yeah. Especially if you want to be your best self.
Yeah.
And you want to have great relationships, whether it's friendships and or dating somebody. You know, you want to be able to give your best self, which means you got to be able to ask the tough questions that you might not really want to hear. So how I can be better as a friend? How can I be better as your husband? How can I be better as your boyfriend? So then I can give you what you need. Because if I don't ask and you don't tell me, I can't give you what you need because I don't know.
Right.
And a lot of times I think sometimes we're too scared to find out because we might not want to do it. So we just go with the flow.
Just go with the flow. Yeah. And even in dating nowadays, I believe that we should put those questions out front.
Absolutely.
You know, find out up front, what is your love language? You know, and if you don't know, go online, look it up, take the test so that you know. And so a lot of these things, you know, quote unquote, you're not wasting your time.
Right.
But you want to just, you know, always use the analogy of just taking the deck of cards, flipping them all over. And let's deal with each one. Let's say each card represents some type of topic.
Right.
And let's begin to deal with those. So understanding someone's love language can immediately let you know, okay, this person needs all this. I'm not this way. And you might say, well, this may not work.
Right.
But it's better to do it in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Than to get emotionally tied up, you know, even spiritually tied up and even physically tied up, only to find out this is not going to work because I can't give them, or I don't want to give them, or I don't want to adapt to give them what they need.
I think a lot of times we get into relationships and we don't try to build the true friendship. And so to have a true friendship, you gotta be able to learn and ask questions about the other person so you get to know who they are, and how you receive love, how you give love is a question I think we all should be asking, because that way, like you said, I can make the conscious choice and say, is this something I can give this person, or do I want to give that to that person, and not wait until it's too intertwined,
right?
And it's too late. You know, it's never too late, but it might be too late to try to change it in the person. So yeah,
it is. It's key, because the more you spend time with someone, the more your souls intertwine.
Yep.
And then if it doesn't work, trying to untwine something that's been twisted together can be very hard. It can be very painful. It could lead to some residual results of people not wanting to be in relationships anymore. It can lead to so much emotional hurt and pain and all this other things. Yep. And so I think it's so key nowadays, no matter where you're at, no matter how many times you've been married, no matter how many times you've been through relationship, you really want to begin to, one, look at yourself. You know, if you've been through a cycle of relationships, look at yourself.
Absolutely.
And ask yourself, why am I in this repeated cycle? You know, you might be picking the same guy. In Brandy Hunt's book, Dealing with the Hand I Was Dealt, she wrote something that just blew me away. She said she was dating the same man for 10 years with a different name. You know, because you have a pattern of picking the same type of people.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny because when I coach a woman, and usually a lot of times the women, that's their key issue. They want to get coached on relationships. You know, they want to tell me what the guys did or they didn't do, or whatever. And I say, you know, we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about you and the type of guys that you're attracting to you. Are they the same type of dudes? And they say, yeah. I said, so we're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about you. And what is it about you and who you are, or your thought pattern that's attracting these type of guys to you? Because if you don't change that, what they doing to you doesn't make a difference, because you're going to attract the same type of guy to you all the time anyway. Right. And they like, I never thought about that. Some guys, and I said a lot of times what you attract is based on your experiences, whether it's
That is so true.
Like your father not being present, or in this person's case, her mother was very controlling. So then therefore she attracted guys that's a little bit more passive. So she could be in control because she's controlling herself. So then, you know, she get these guys she want to control this whole situation, but then she wants them to be a man. It's too late,
right?
Because you have now did everything. So now when you want them to be a man, stand up, it's too late because they used to you doing everything. So at the end of the day, men and women gotta look at themselves about who they're attracting and do the work on themselves, and then they'll find something different.
Yeah, you have to. I think it's so critical with that examine, because you want to stop the cycle. Because the only thing you want to do, if you keep repeating it, you're not going to find true love, the real love. You're not going to be able to experience a healthy relationship because you keep drawing the same type of people, the same type of man, the same type of woman. And so we have to be able to go ahead and get that done. So Kevin, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know we're going to be back on for the next episode, but let people know how they can get in touch. Let them know about your show on Monday night.
Sure. So my show on Monday nights is called The Wellness Architect Show, and the whole purpose of the show is to inspire, educate, and empower people to be the best version of themselves, mind, body, and spirit, health, and financial wellness. You can find it on Status Network. You can download the app on Google Play or Apple Store at Status Network. It's live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Just find it on The Wellness Architect Show. You can friend me on Facebook at Kevin Thornton, or also The Wellness Architect, and also at The Wellness Architect on Instagram. And just send me a DM, and I'll get back with you.
Okay. Now, tell them about some of the topics you do on your show real quick.
Well, we talk about health issues. We want to do erectile dysfunction. That's been the key thing lately, because men and women want to have a conversation about that. You know, losing weight, detoxing. We talked about having men's roundtable discussion about relationships from a male perspective. We talk about financial wealth, changing the mindset of creating abundance in our lifestyle. So it goes the whole gamut. All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. All the information on how to contact me is right there on the bottom of your screen. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said before, every Saturday, 2:30 p.m., ManTalk Plus. And stay tuned for next week, because we're going to do a part 2 with my brother Kevin. So I'm really, really excited about what's going on. We got a really, really special topic next week. We're going to talk about erectile dysfunction. So you want to buckle up. Amen. You really, really, really want to buckle up. Also, if you want to partner with us, just asking for a $50 monthly seed at ManTalk